Imagine a delivery room, buzzing with tension. A mother is about to welcome her first child, but as the newborn takes her first breath, doctors freeze. Their smiles drop. Something is wrong, very wrong. We've never seen anything like this before, one nurse whispers. That's when the doctor drops the bombshell. The baby is pregnant. Yes, you heard that right. A newborn baby, carrying another life inside her tiny belly. This isn't science fiction. This is a documented medical mystery, so bizarre, it left doctors, scientists, and the entire world stunned. But how did this happen? Was it a freak of nature, a scientific accident, or something deeper, darker? Stay with us, because what you're about to hear is a true story filled with twists, heartbreak, and questions that still haunt the medical community. Like, share, and subscribe, because the human body never ceases to shock us, and neither will this story. The story begins in rural Missouri. Jenna McLaughlin, 29, had what seemed like a typical pregnancy. Routine checkups, normal ultrasounds, nothing alarming. Jenna, a third-grade teacher, had always dreamed of becoming a mom. She and her husband, Tyler, had struggled with fertility for nearly 4 years. Finally, after rounds of IUI, a miracle. 2 pink lines on the stick. You're finally going to be a daddy, she whispered to Tyler, holding the test with shaking hands. They named the baby Lila before she was even born. But around week 30, something odd appeared during an ultrasound. The technician frowned, zoomed in, re-angled, again. Might be a hernia, she said too quickly. The doctor will review. The rest of the pregnancy was uneventful, or at least, that's what they thought. Lila was born on November 12th at 4:17 a.m. after 14 hours of labor. She came out crying, lungs strong, eyes wide open. The delivery room erupted in joy. But then, as the pediatrician did the initial checks, the mood shifted. The baby's abdomen is unusually distended, he said, trying to mask the concern. Lila's belly was firm and unnaturally large. A portable ultrasound was wheeled into the delivery room. The technician scanned in silence. A nurse left the room to call the neonatal surgical team. Something wasn't right. Lila was taken to the NICU within minutes. The scan revealed what looked like a second fetus, partially developed. Inside her abdomen, it had limbs, bones, a partially formed skull. A second heartbeat wasn't detected, but the structure was unmistakably human. Fetus in fetu, one doctor whispered. The staff was stunned. Some had heard of it in textbooks, but in real life, never, and never in a newborn. Jenna was recovering from the delivery when Tyler came into the room, pale and trembling. They think Lila, she has something inside her. A twin. Jenna laughed, thinking it was a joke. Ty, that's not funny. I'm serious. They're prepping her for surgery. Her world stopped. Post-labor exhaustion gave way to full-blown panic. She begged to be wheeled to the NICU, cried when she saw Lila hooked up to IVs and monitors. At just 13 hours old, Lila was wheeled into surgery. The team included pediatric surgeons, neonatologists, and an ethics counselor. They weren't just dealing with a mass. They were removing what might be human remains. The operating theater was tense. Jenna and Tyler prayed in the waiting room. An hour into the surgery, the lead surgeon called Tyler's phone. She's stable. We are proceeding. You need to see this. Inside Lila was a structure about 4 inches long, roughly the size of a 16-week-old fetus. It had limbs, a malformed head, a spinal cord, but no brain activity, no heartbeat, no lungs. It was an incomplete twin, absorbed in the womb, a parasitic twin. The surgical team carefully removed the remains. They preserved it for study. News spread like wildfire. Baby born pregnant became the top headline on CNN, Fox, Reddit, and Twitter. Pediatricians from around the world weighed in. The McLaughlins were hounded by media. Paparazzi showed up in their front yard. Jenna released a public statement. "Our daughter is not a headline. She's a miracle who survived something unthinkable." Experts now say fetus in fetu happens when identical twins fail to fully separate during the first few weeks of gestation. One twin becomes dominant, absorbing the other. In rare cases, the absorbed twin partially survives within the host. It's not technically a pregnancy, said Dr. Mei Lin, a fetal development specialist. But biologically, it mimics one. Some religious groups called it divine punishment. Others called it a miracle. Jenna just wanted peace. Jenna developed postpartum PTSD. She had nightmares of babies crying from inside walls. Tyler became hyper-protective. He installed cameras, GPS tracked Lila's stroller, and refused visitors. Therapy helped. Slowly, they learned to live with the trauma. But the internet never forgets. Lila's story resurfaced in YouTube documentaries, TikTok fun facts, medical school lectures. She became a case study. By age 6, Lila asked, "Why do people call me a miracle baby?" Jenna sat her down, told her gently. Lila listened, thought, then asked, "Was she my sister?" Jenna nodded. Lila drew 2 stick figures holding hands, one bigger, one tiny. She taped it to the fridge. Years later, Jenna got pregnant again. This time, anxiety was constant. Every cramp, every shadow on a scan sparked panic. At 24 weeks, they saw a lump. A second opinion ruled it a benign cyst, but Jenna didn't sleep for days. Eventually, baby Noah was born healthy. Jenna wept harder than she did the first time. Lila is 12 now. She knows her story. She's proud of it. She volunteers at NICUs. She tells younger kids, sometimes weird things happen, but that doesn't make you weird. It makes you strong. She wants to be a neonatal surgeon, and maybe, someday, help a baby like herself. Would you tell your child if they were born with a medical mystery like this? What if the world turned them into a headline? Drop your thoughts in the comments. This is more than a story. It's a question about identity, biology, and the line between miracle and mystery. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because the truth is stranger than fiction, and sometimes it's born right in front of us.